Hey guys, MCU Collector here with the final video in the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Spider-Man Wave 13 Demogoblin Build-A-Figure. I know, probably crazy that I keep saying that every single time, but here we have the Build-A-Figure video itself, the Demogoblin. So I'm going to put this thing together. Now I predict that I'm going to have some problems like I did with the Super Scroll. When you have a normal figure base and you try to put the things together, which wasn't originally made to be a Build-A-Figure, I think I'm going to have some problems with the legs again, but we'll see. So I think to make it easy, I'm going to start with the arms. So here we have the left arm. We're just going to port that right in, or attempt to port that right in, force that in. Okay, I got it. So well, I know I don't got it. So already off to a great start here. Okay, it's ported in. It doesn't make a whole lot of noise in there, but it's in there. So no click that you know you got it in there. You just have to put it. Okay, so we got the arms in, so off to a decent start, I guess. We'll put the head on. Nope. Put the cape on. Yeah, let's just go for the legs. I guess it'll be easier if I don't have to worry about the cape being in the way. Okay, so the legs, put them in. Okay, so much easier than the Super Scroll Build-A-Figure, but still it wasn't like an easy kind of push in, because the legs are kind of thin, and then it wants to bow at the knee, so you want to be careful of that. See, I'm like bending it at the knee. Nope, that didn't work out so well. So I am having a little bit of problems with this right leg. Let's see if I can get it on now. Okay, so not quite. So I'm gonna have to do it off video now because I'm twisting and turning the knee and the feet and everything. So be right back. Okay, so I got the legs on, and so it's a matter of, you know, me reaching out to do it. It's difficult in front of the camera. So if you have it, you know, close to you, you can work on it. It's going to be much easier. But as I'm extending and reaching out, that becomes an issue trying to put it together. So you guys at home shouldn't have too much of a problem to do that. So now that we got the legs on, let's go ahead and put the cape around. Let's pop the Demogoblin head on there. You kind of have to force it because you got the shoulder thing pushing high up on the neck peg. Might have to do the head off camera too. This is ridiculous. That ball wants to keep hinging down. Alright, so I'm gonna have to do that off camera too, because it's just between the shoulder strap and the cape and everything to get that on, I'm having some complications. So let's do this off video. Okay, so there it is. I got the head on it. I really had to force it down onto that ball peg because the hood, not the hood, the cape, and then the shoulder strap kind of gets in the way. So if you move the shoulder strap over the shoulder joint over here on his left arm, it makes it a little bit easier, but you gotta have to hold it kind of close to you and really push down on the head to get it on there. So that was some of the complications that I had. So the Demogoblin Fielder looks really good. There's some really cool things about this, like the shoulder strap and the belt piece that's all one. That's awesome. These glove pieces are awesome. He doesn't stand because it's so back heavy, because look at how the cape holds out with the head on there. That's just the way it's designed. So it's kind of back heavy. The head sculpt is amazing, but one flaw, big flaw in this figure, it's just so small. The torso is so small. His head is so big. His hands are huge. That's just kind of the downfall of reusing some of these pieces. I think that hurts this figure quite a bit. Overall, it looks fantastic, but there's some of those problems there. The glider is absolutely amazing. Why we can't get a super nice glider like this for Green Goblin or Hobgoblin or anything, or even Red Goblin, we need a glider. And I noticed somebody on Instagram said they were going to use this for Red Goblin. It's not completely accurate, but I guess it's better than no glider, right? So there's that. So here you can you could just kind of plug his feet into those holes there for the glider, and that can work as a stand because he is, you know, kind of back heavy with the cape. You can do something like that. And then you have, of course, the stand, so you can have different altitudes that you have him going. So remember, be careful on how you port this in. Keep it close and don't push it so much. You kind of want to wiggle it and work it in there because you don't want to damage the that stand and how it's going. So you can have him going kind of like that. So that's one example. We'll take a look at a few more examples there, but pretty cool. Let's get in closer to see that head sculpt in that glider. Okay, so here's a closer look at the glider, and look at that thing. Looks really awesome. Kind of have that dragon look, dragon demon look. It's got like horns in there. That looks really good. Lots of great detail. The flame effect looks really cool. Semi-translucent, we get the yellow into the orange. Really blends nicely to give it a real fire look, so that just looks fantastic. Hasbro did a great job with this glider, so we know all the Build-A-Figure budget went into this glider. The head sculpt's good too, so I don't want to take away too much from it as we take a look at it, because look at that. That is awesome. The detail in there is amazing. The paint apps are fantastic. We get this bright orange eyes, dark wash over the entire face to give it that textured look. The teeth are done amazing. That tongue looks disgusting. Great job, Hasbro. That just looks really, really good. Look at that. The details in the teeth, I just can't get over it. They did just such a fantastic job with it. Then looking at the gloves, those are done really nice with that blue and red. It's got the chain around there, and that's actually floating pieces there for like over his wrist. The hands look great. This belt piece right there with that demon emblem there, the strap, that looks great. You can actually take it off right there in the front, and I try to pour that back in. That just looks really good, and then it's pretty basic from the lower part of the body down. There is the cape, just fantastic. Now let's look at his articulation. Okay, so the articulation for the Demogoblin, you're not going to get a whole lot of movement in that head at all. Very, very, very little, so you're not going to get him to look down. You're not really going to get him to look up. So that's a little unfortunate, especially when you're on his glider and he's going to be up above people, usually up above. So that's going to be a problem. You get, of course, the rotation in there. Tiny, tiny bit of head pivot. So the shoulder can go up that high. With the scale armor of the shoulder, it's going to be hard to get it to go higher than that, but that's about as high as you're going to get it. You're going to get a full rotation in there. Of course, there is an upper bicep swivel. You get a double jointed elbow, which is only going to give you about that much at the bend, so just about 90 degrees. So that's actually a little bit lacking. There is a swivel at the wrist, and it does hinge, and that's same goes for both sides there. There's an ab crunch, so you can get him to crunch forward that much. You can get him to crunch back that much, and that cape actually does not get in the way because it sticks out so much already to begin with. Waist swivel in there. The belt does get in the way a little bit. You just kind of move it around. You can do the splits that much. Can't kick forward super high. Goes back quite a bit even. There's the upper thigh cut where the leg comes together. You get a double jointed knee, which works really well. You have boot swivel at the pirate boot. Ankle pivot. Hinge goes down. Hinge goes up. And then you have peg holes at the bottom of the feet. And there's the ankle pivot that I had just mentioned a little early. So there's the articulation. Pretty good. Again, it's difficult to get the guy to stand up because the cape sticks out. So you know, I have to kind of lean forward, and it just looks kind of funny, but it is what it is. Okay, so now we're going to check out the different height levels of Demogoblin on the glider. So we have the stand, and the stand I had mentioned before in a previous video. I thought it was weird that at least wasn't even, and I'm sure that's going to all be a balancing act. So you can see we have the ball here, the ball joint, so you can have it in different poses. You can have it at that height, and that height. So all three are different heights, which explains why it would not be even. And I was aware of that at the time, but somebody had mentioned it. So again, remember, as you can see, they have stretch marks here because I had bent it down when trying to pour it in. So don't just try and force it in there. Get it at the ball and work its way onto the glider. So you want to be careful with it because you don't want to mess up your stand like I did. So as we kind of work on it and get it in there, there is the stand. So you can see we have him here at one height, and that is pretty cool. So that's at its highest elevation that you're going to have it. That looks pretty good. And then we'll switch it up here. You can see a little bit lower, still not bad, and then at its lowest point with this one here. And then you can of course add some tilt to it, but then you got to really work the balancing of where you put the stand. As you can see, I'm having a little bit of trouble with that now, but so you can do a little bit of twists into it. So you just have to use the stand and turn the stand how you want on that ball joint, so you can really get the balance in there, because if it's going to lean too much to that side, you know, that's not really going to work out. So, but if you turn it that way, then the stand is going to be supporting it, and then you can kind of get that tilt in there. So you can do cool things like that. You just kind of, again, just practice on your balancing of it. Now let's see him next to some other goblins. Okay, and here we have the Demogoblin next to the OG himself, the Green Goblin, Norman Osborn. And you can see, again, the arms are the same, the torso is the same, and then the boots and feet are the same, but the legs are completely different because we don't get the scale armor on the Demogoblin. So there they are next to each other. Demogoblin next to the Hobgoblin, and the Demogoblin next to the Red Goblin. Now I also have the Hobgoblin Build-A-Figure, but I forgot to pull that one out. And then the Ultimate Green Goblin, which is not really Goblin-like. So I just wanted to show the similarities with these smaller goblins. So here we are. And here is the Demogoblin next to Spider-Man. Okay, so before I get into the ranking, I'm curious, you guys let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of this figure. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Build-A-Figures that are basically on a normal size body, and then not even necessarily that, like Mantis, Okoye. I don't mind those type of Build-A-Figures because they're a new character, new mold, everything. But when we have a Build-A-Figure where it's reusing a mold, it's like, well, you know, shouldn't it be something new? Now, that's a minor complaint because a Build-A-Figure is a bonus figure. It's not a part of it. Yes, the Build-A-Figure itself, the budget of it, you know, gets factored into the entire wave and everything. So I don't necessarily mind it. It's just when we get reused parts from normal figures where I'm kind of like, well, you know, they could have given us at least some new sculpt. Now, Build-A-Figures use similar parts all the time. That happens. It's nothing new. You know, we have like Crimson Dynamo that's coming up that uses the same legs from the Ironmonger and the Mandroid Build-A-Figure. It's just the legs, so it's not a big deal. But when you have something where it's, you know, almost the entire thing, what do we get? New forearms, hands, and a head. The glider is cool, so that is a big deal because it's done very nicely. So there's just kind of some of my thoughts, but you guys let me know down in the comments below what you think. And then here now we'll get to the ranking of the figures in the wave. Okay, so if I were to rank the figures in this wave, Superior Octopus was my #1. Great character design. The figure is awesome. I love the new torso. Just everything about this figure I absolutely love. So that's easily my #1. #2 is Vulture because it's nice to have a classic look. Now, #3 and 4, I kind of can swap around a little bit. Now, I like this design more, but that's not anything onto the figure. This is a better executed figure than this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 is the Velocity suit. 4 is the Spider armor. 5, Shang-Chi. Finishing it off is White Rabbit because I just Shang-Chi could have been higher, but those shoulders, it's like, oh, that's killing me. And then the Demogoblin by itself, I don't usually include in the ranking. If I were, it would probably be my #3 behind Superior Octopus and Vulture because these two figures are fantastic. But that Superior Octopus is hands down one of the best figures in it. It's going to be in my top 10 for 2019 for sure, because figures that I get in 2019, so that's going to be in my top 10 for sure. May even be my #1, 2, or 3. Probably top 3 because it's just absolutely fantastic. So that's my ranking. You guys let me know down in the comments below how you would rank it. You guys also let me know what you think of the full wave. Are you getting them all? Are you going to hand pick and choose which ones you're going to want? Or are you going to just kind of get the pieces to build the Demogoblin Build-A-Figure? Let me know down in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up button if you guys like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell. And as always, thank you for watching.